Hey everyone, welcome to Kempner Sports. My name is Rev Trev, and I'm a Packers fan, diehard fan who loves fantasy football. If you want to have content that will help you to compete and contend and win a championship, a fantasy championship, please subscribe to this channel. And today I'm going to be talking about something that's actually difficult to talk about in the fantasy world, is what are the reasonable predictions, what are the expectations fantasy-wise for Green Bay Packers players. I know why it's difficult, because there's a lot of people that are really down on the Packers. In fact, we are predicted to win 6 games this year. Most people are not thinking we're going to get higher than that. And I just think it's really interesting how it's like that is the standard. I think it's at the end of the day, they just don't know. And to be honest, Packers fans are divided and don't really know either. Some are like thinking we're making the playoffs. Others think that we're going to win 3 to 5 games. And everywhere in between. There's a lot of Packers fans that I'm seeing. We're at between the 8 and 9 win mark, which was exactly what we did last year, and we were in that area. So what do you think about that? And it doesn't really matter. Like, say our team is terrible and we only win 3 or 4 or 5 games. There's fantasy production on those teams. Now, obviously, teams that are good, that make the playoffs, have fantasy production. So, if we are a playoff team, that means there's lots of our players that are going to produce good numbers for you to win your championships. And because everyone's low on our Packers, we might be able to get some steals. So we're going to talk about each player that has some fantasy relevance, and we're going to talk about ADPs. So if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, now is the time. Okay, let's talk about the one that's the most popular, that I believe is a must-have when it comes to drafting. And I don't mean like in the first round. I mean, he is going to be drafted in every single league. And it is Aaron Jones. Okay, Aaron Jones' ADP is a very low 17 to 18, which means he's RB2 territory. Okay, so Breece Hall, Joe Mixon, ETN, Jamar Gibbs, the rookie from Detroit who's not even played a snap, and Dameon Pierce are all getting drafted higher than Aaron Jones. So if you grab a wide receiver, or you get one of those really great running backs in that first 10, 12 picks, you can expect to have Aaron Jones available in the second, third, and sometimes even as low as the 4th round. And I think that's just really good value. In a 12-team league, he's going to be in round 3, round 4. So that is something I think people are sleeping on Aaron Jones. I know that they don't think the offense is going to be good, but can we just admit that our O-line is very good? I get that Jordan Love is the question mark here, but Aaron Jones is going to have value, and he could be that guy who maybe you sneak him in a flex position and go in those other ways, or you're going to go the wide receiver route, and then you pick up an Aaron Jones as your number 1 running back. That's actually not a bad strategy. So I'm high on him. I have, if you've seen my top 10 running backs video, I have him as number 10. I'm really debating whether I should bump him down to maybe 12 there, but he is really good. He's elite. He's dynamic. And I'm just all in on Aaron Jones. I'd love to know what you have him ranked at. The next ones are about potential, and the 2 guys I want to talk about is Christian Watson and A.J. Dillon. Okay, so Christian Watson, his ADP is wide receiver 23 to 25, which of course, if Aaron Rodgers was still in town, he would be drafted way higher than that. I believe he would be in the top 12 of wide receivers going. Now, if you think about last season, for example, the very first play, Aaron Rodgers throws that touchdown pass into his hands. He drops it. And, man, I just think, like, what would the hype have been if he had caught that and scored on that first play? I think it would have changed the narrative. And then he struggled with injuries, but he scored 7 touchdowns, I think, in a number of weeks. And so here's the thing. When I watch Christian Watson, I see a dynamic guy. He's got elite speed. He's got good route running. I just think a healthy Christian Watson would have been higher and would have ranked higher. So I think he's going way too low for his ADP. Now, people that are all ahead of Christian Watson, DJ Moore, which it doesn't that break your heart as a Packers fan that a Bears player is higher right now. Terry McLaurin, DeAndre Hopkins, who hasn't played in the league in a long time, Jerry Jeudy on the terrible Broncos are all ahead of Watson. And so where would you have Watson in that list? Do you have him higher than all those guys? Maybe you have McLaurin higher and maybe Hopkins, but not anyone else. I don't know. I think there's a case to say he's better than all of those guys that I just mentioned. Now, he would have to have a good season. He'd have to be healthy to do that. But his ADP is 23 to 25 right now, and I think that's insane. That's too low. I think he's a sneaky pick that you can get later on and around and be very happy as your number 2 wide receiver. And you're going to be getting touchdowns with him. It's not just yards, okay? So A.J. Dillon. Okay, now A.J. Dillon, the quad father, the beast quads, man. Like, this guy is a tank. He's a truck. He's just amazing. He's hard to predict because there's a lot of people that are saying that it's going to be really a 1A, 1B role. I still think it's number 1 is Aaron Jones, but there's a lot of people that think that A.J. Dillon can emerge as the top running back in Green Bay, and they're not wrong. He had 7 touchdowns last season. 7! That's a lot. I mean, he didn't get as many yards, but he got the tough yards. He moved the chains when we needed him to. This is the kind of guy that you like to have on your bench. A.J. Dillon is going at ADP running back 32. And so you can get him really late and have upside. There's just upside. If Jones goes down, then you got the number 1 running back in Green Bay. That's super positive, right? So guys that are all ahead of A.J. Dillon, Dalvin Cook, who is he the starter or is it Breece Hall there? I don't know. James Cook, who's the starter in Buffalo. Rashid White, again, Tampa Bay starting running back. Pachenko and Montgomery. Again, Montgomery, like really? Like, I guess, how can you have Gibbs and him both there? But anyways, whatever. I'm mortified that some of these NFC North players are higher than our guys, but I mean, I can see the argument why people would want White or Pachenko or James Cook ahead, but Dillon can still produce those points, so he's going to be a point producer. It'd be interesting what he does. Okay, really quickly, sleeper picks. I think Romeo Doubs is a sleeper pick. People are totally sleeping on him. I made a video of 4 sleepers, wide receiver sleepers. He was on my list. He's someone that I'm targeting in most leagues. Now, here's the challenge. He's wide receiver 51 to 60. In a lot of leagues, he's not getting drafted at all because if you're in a 10-team league, you're not drafting Romeo Doubs. Now, he's the number 2 wide receiver in Green Bay. He has a connection with Jordan Love. You can see it on the field. I think when it's 3rd and whatever, he's going to be looking to Romeo Doubs for a lot of those looks. So I think he's going to have production this year. How much production he's going to have is the question mark. But he's in the range of these guys, okay? Allen Lazard, yes, the guy who used to be on our team. He's in the range and higher in ADP, okay? Thielen in Carolina. Are you kidding me right now? I mean, isn't he slowed and washed up? I would rather have Dobbs. Rashad Bateman is higher than him, okay? Or in the range. Would you rather Bateman or Dobbs? Jacoby Myers is consistently being drafted higher than Dobbs. And Tyler Boyd is in that range, sometimes higher, sometimes lower than him. Who would you rather have? I mean, I understand that Boyd is in that prolific offense, but at the end of the day, Dobbs is still the number 2 wide receiver in Green Bay. So, dynasty-wise, though, so we talked about must-haves, potential, sleepers, and now we're going to go into dynasty leagues. Jordan Love is a dynasty league player, okay? His ADP at quarterback is 17 to 18, which actually is not that bad considering we haven't seen him. He's only played 2 regular season games. He's played a bunch of preseason games over his career. He hasn't looked great, to be honest. He's starting to look better. I think he's looking like a starting quarterback. He's our QB1. So, and some people are predicting that he's going to get, he's not going to last the season. I think they're going to give him every opportunity to succeed in Green Bay. Obviously, every player in the NFL has to produce or you don't play, right? But I have been targeting Jordan Love in all of my dynasty leagues. In fact, I almost have him in every single one of my dynasty leagues, and I'm actively trying to trade for him before the season starts because I do think he has potential. And, you know, that draft class, when you start looking at those names, they were pretty spectacular, and Jordan Love's the only one that hasn't gotten the chance because Aaron Rodgers was winning Super Bowl, or not Super Bowls, MVP, I wish Super Bowls, MVPs, back-to-back MVPs. So I think that Jordan Love is, 3 years behind Rodgers, 3 years waiting, 3 years learning the system, 3 years working as players. I think he's solid. I wouldn't start him in a 12-team league, of course not. But if you're in a Superflex league, he's getting drafted in every single Superflex league. And most times he's getting drafted as your third quarterback. There's no risk for you to do that. So just go ahead and go for it. Go pick up Jordan Love in your dynasty leagues, and if not, trade from, like, throw in a couple other things, do a small package, get Jordan on your team, because worst case scenario, you just drop him and you draft another quarterback next year. Like, that's really what it comes down to, right? Okay, the other dynasty league player that I'm targeting, and I'm also looking at normal leagues as well, is Musgrave. Now I'm talking about leagues that have 12 teams or more, okay? Musgrave at tight end is a sneaky pick. Now, he's tight end number 24, which means if you're in a 12-team league and everyone picks 2 tight ends, which they don't, that means he's the last pick of a 12-team league. So what it's saying is he's not being drafted. He's not being drafted. But here's the thing about tight ends. It's a complete mess. You have your elite ones, and then everyone else, it's hit and miss the whole week. And here's the thing. I think it's worth just putting him on your bench just to see. Have him on your bench before, especially in Dynasty, before the season starts. Just have him there. If he's no good, drop him. If he's great or he shows glimpses, I don't know about you, but every time I see him play, he reminds me of Travis Kelce. I'm not saying he is Travis Kelce. I'm not saying he's going to be Travis Kelce, but I'm saying if he's even close to Travis Kelce, that is a massive, massive steal. So I've been trying to trade for him, and I'm really, really excited about his future in Green Bay. He looks like he can have some legitimate value. Graves is the thing about him being relevant. It really comes down to also the other rookie tight ends that are trying to be relevant. Is he better than Kincaid? Like, will he? I don't know if that's the right word, the right phrase. It's more like can he be productive like Kincaid? I think Kincaid is a very talented tight end, but this is the year of the tight ends that were drafted high. I think there's a lot of sleeper tight ends that are out there that are going to be on rosters soon. So is he going to be better than Kincaid or at the same level? What about Michael Mayers in Las Vegas? There's a lot of people not really talking about him much anymore. I think Musgrave could be better than him. Laporta in Detroit, he's probably going to have a good season as well. So it's going to be interesting. One of those or two of those or maybe 3 of those tight ends are going to be drafted in the top 10, top 12 next year. So that's someone you want to keep your eye on. Okay, now last 2 ones I'm going to do real quick is Jalen Reed, okay? Jalen Reed's ADP is 75 to 82, and that just means that he's a dynasty option. He's a taxi squad guy. We don't know what we have in him until you see him play. So I don't want to say, like, you need to have him, but Tourier is also there. He could be a sleepy guy to pick up too, but Jalen Reed would be a guy you want on your like real deep, like taxi squad thing, and just watch what he does. But I don't know if he's a must-have at this stage. But JSN, I mean, everyone's drafting JSN, and I think we passed on him because we knew that we were going to go get Jalen Reed in that second round. And I think if you just change the name to JSN, now you're going to say JSN's better. Well, we don't know that yet. We're about to find out. He's playing in that slot role in Seattle, just like he's going to be playing in Green Bay. So I'm just saying, someone to think about and keep your radar on for sure. Now, defense. Let's talk about the full defense. We're not going to talk about individual defensive players because that's just too much in fantasy football anyways. And if you're in that league, God bless you, but that's not for me. Okay, ADP, defense. These are the different places they're being ranked. 11th, 17th, and 21, which means this. They're a streaming defense. That's just a fact. Now, we hope they're way better than they were last year, but I don't feel confident at this stage starting the Green Bay defense until I see. I don't know if Joe Barry has the right scheme for us. We're about to find out. And if we're going to make the playoffs, he better do a great job and the players better execute. But I think he's a streaming defense. There's going to be games where you play that you're going to be able to play if you don't have an elite defense, maybe Green Bay's one. Like first week against Chicago, that might be a good sneaky play. Like when we play the Atlanta Falcons, that might be another opportunity to play. There's weaker matchups, so to speak, that you could play the Green Bay defense and be really happy. In fact, they've been dominating the offense in training camp for most days. And so I think they're really good. And Gary is back, which is huge for a sack total. And also frees up other people to get sacks as well. Van Ness, if he produces, will be great. So if you want more fantasy content, please like, subscribe, and of course, always go Pack, go.